I wanted to share a little bit about anger and rage. So it's a personal share, and so about 20 years ago, maybe 18 years ago, I found myself with going through a period of unwellness, and they discovered that I had gallstones. Back then, I had no conscious awareness of emotions being energy that want motion. I had no idea of the liver, the gallbladder, and no conscious awareness of how disassociated I was. I was just going through life, and a physical symptom came up, and I put it down to poor diet and stress, and of course go to the doctor. And unfortunately, in my opinion, mainstream medicine, though it has some benefits, mostly it's let's do surgery or let's medicate. And we're, as being so much more complex than that, really on an energetic level, not on the material, although obviously we're having human experience. And again, I'm not saying that we shouldn't seek medical advice, but I think unfortunately the state of the medical system is that there isn't a root cause, there's just to treat the symptom. That's my opinion. Anyway, that aside, I obviously took the advice of the medical profession, because at that point in my life I was very much about handing my power to someone else in terms of my health and well-being and everything. I was waiting for the saviour, someone to fix me, someone to make me better, someone to be responsible for me, so I didn't have to be responsible for myself. Unconsciously, blindly, that was running. And so I had my gallbladder taken out. And for the most part, I went about life because the pain had gone, and it was a relief to not be in so much pain, not feel so unwell. Life still had its stuckness, and life still had, why has it always happened to me? What's wrong with me? Life wasn't working out. Same problems were repeating themselves. And then, obviously, I came to this work and realized that I had so much rage and anger that I was holding on to. Now, I'm going to presence this, and before I do, I'm going to presence this with, again, it's not my fault, but now it is my responsibility. But we live in a society where rage and anger is not acceptable. It ends up being projected, and we end up harming each other as a consequence of it. But we aren't able to be in flow of anger and rage. It is something that we either feel incredible shame about it, particularly in the feminine, and we aren't shown healthy ways to experience that expression, and that's me included. And when you as a child, your needs are not met, and it's my opinion that no parent can meet every need of the child, and as a consequence there is a distinguishing of life that comes from that experience, or an identity that is born out of that experience, and a mechanism that requires me to suppress that expression and find other ways of being in the world, to be safe and to have my needs met. And so I spent most of my life not wanting to feel anger, not knowing how to feel anger healthily, and to be honest, feeling a lot of shame about when I did, because obviously it's there and it bubbled up and I was triggered, and the anger was there, but wasn't able, or didn't have the capacity, or didn't have the tools, or the ways, or the space to express that healthy anger and rage, which if you've seen my previous posts, I believe is another necessary emotion, energy. In fact, it's necessary for the cycle of life. It is the upward movement. It is required for so much. Again, go and check out my previous posts where I talk about, it's part of the decision making. It's part of the decisiveness. It's definitely part of the forward movement. It's where our passion and power is, and yet we suppress it. And though my gallbladder was removed, it did not remove the rage. And as a consequence, my liver now had to take that role on. And now that I'm in this incredibly transformative portal, i.e. my Chiron return, i.e. my perimenopause, menopause portal, where all of that's coming up to be reviewed, I'm realizing what the knock-on effect of having my gallbladder out, but also suppressing my anger, and how it's affected my life force, how it's affected my body, the consequences of that, and it's now my responsibility. And as a consequence, also I have had to learn ways and of being with my anger, of moving my anger, of allowing it, of not projecting it, how to have it healthily, and that is an ever deepening experience. I'm still in practice of that and learning, and I just wanted to presence the emotion of anger and rage, and what effect it can have on your body. The anger and rage is needed for the movement of the energy, and in Chinese medicine, the hun, the spirit, that needs to be in a cyclical way in our body through the month, through the days, through the month, through the year, and through our lives, both for us humans and for the earth. Without that emotion of anger and rage, it's not possible. So I am running a free workshop on anger, sacred anger and rage. I think it's a very sacred emotion. I think it's a very necessary emotion. I think it's part of our expression. I think if we to be fully expressed, we have to feel anger and rage, and if we don't, there are consequences for that, both physically and otherwise. And I want to just invite you along. Come along and let's get inquisitive with how much anger and rage is sitting there that wants to be expressed, and how can we express that in ways that are healthy, that we can be responsible for, and be in flow of our vitality and our power and our essence and our spirit, the hun, and really own that. So go to my bio, there's a link there, I'll pop a link here too, and it's free, it's on the 19th, and I hope to see you there.